Yes, you can start.
Okay. Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, yes, you are audible.
Okay. First of all, a very good afternoon and warm welcome to dear participants in the workshop organized by IIC BBDITM on the topic My Story Motivational Session by Successful Entrepreneur, co-founder of Stratabiz. Before proceeding the session, I would like to welcome our honorable chief patrons, Dr. Alka Das Gupta ma'am, chairperson, BBD Education Group, Mr. Viraj Sagar Dasji sir, president, BBD Education Group, our respected director sir, Professor Dr. S.S. Chauhan sir, BBD ITM. Now, I would like to welcome our respected eminent speaker, Shri Priya
ओए
Konakanchi
पागल
ma'am.
है तू
Mute yourself.
She is a post She is a postgraduate specializing in international business from IIT Mumbai School, Khara. Short-term course in advanced fintech and blockchain
Diksha,
management at IIM Calcutta.
Diksha,
Short-term course.
यस मैम
Diksh. Mute yourself.
सॉरी मैम
Yes.
Okay. Short-term course at ESSCA School of Management, Budapest, Hungary. Short-term course at EM Normandy, Caen, France. Ma'am has 5 years of experience in banking and financial services areas, that is auditing, financial analysis, equity research, and other areas. Shri Priya ma'am, currently with Stratabiz Advisory Services LPP in Navi Mumbai as the Assistant Vice President since August 2021, providing advisory services in corporate finance projects, funding, and restructuring of liabilities portfolio of large, medium, and small enterprises. With Reliance ADAG as the corporate strategy manager handling various assignments. Prior to this, worked as an equity research analyst in BFSI sector at Reliance Securities. Under CSR, that is corporate social responsibilities, she is an active Rotrepreneur associating with Rotary International Rotary Club of Millennium City, Navi Mumbai, heading several social projects and community services in Greater Mumbai and Navi Mumbai. And now, I would like to welcome our faculty coordinators, Dr. Preeti Mishra ma'am, IIC President, Dr. Abhimanyu Kumar Yadav sir, IIC Convener, Assistant Professor Vinay Kumar Yadav sir, Faculty Coordinator. And now, I would like to hand over the mic to our respected Dr. Preeti Mishra ma'am to welcome our eminent speaker. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Avinash. Thank you very much. I, Dr. Preeti Mishra, as a President IIC BBD ITM, wish you all and one present here a very good afternoon. And first of all, I would like to extend my gratitude to Honorable Chairperson BBDEG, Dr. Alka Das, President BBDEG, Shri Viraj Sagar Das ji, for providing us this opportunity. I welcome and extend my gratitude to the respected Professor Dr. S.S. Chauhan sir, and I welcome all the participants, all the faculty participants, and other dignitaries who have taken their time out to attend this session. And I also welcome to the students who have shown their interest for this wonderful session of an young entrepreneur who can motivate you for having your own business. And now I a very warm welcome and good afternoon to the young entrepreneur, Ms. Sripriya Konakanchi, and I am thankful to her for sparing time for our students and share her success story with them so that they can also think of and work on it. And many of them are having their dream to become an entrepreneur, so they can have guidance from her. So now I let dice. Now dice is yours, Shripriya. So you can start.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am, for the lovely introduction. I'm really overwhelmed and I'm very excited on this Sunday afternoon to talk to all of you about my journey in entrepreneurship. So before I start, I'll just share the presentation. I was asked to give a presentation to you all. Um, can you see the presentation?
No, ma'am, not now.
Can you see it now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Now it's
Yes,
visible.
ma'am.
Okay. Great. So the reality of entrepreneurship, that's why I call it, that's what I call it, because there's a lot of things that you find on internet on entrepreneurship, but I guess there's a reality that everyone miss in this journey, which I'll try and touch up today through my session. So before I start, can we have a quick, hands up? How many of you are young entrepreneurs and how many of you are job seekers? Can I have a quick hands up of who all want to pursue entrepreneurship once they finish their course? Okay, I can see Mohasi Nakan, and I'm sorry if I misspelled your name. Rizvi. Okay, that's it. 2 out of 53 participants. Wow, you guys are really brave. And how many of you are job seekers? No job seekers at all? Okay. There's Ashna Singh, Akash, Mayank, more job seekers. Okay. And how many of you didn't actually even bother to put your hand up? Well, I am actually in the third category, so it's completely all right. I'm equally as confused as you guys. The third category people who didn't even put their hand up, we have no clue what we are going to do. So I was there in the same position, so I can relate. And well, before you just make any judgments, you need to know this first, that there are some statistics out there, which is like 5.6% in India, of the total population in India, are unemployed right now. Why I say this is that we have every reason to be confused. My father always told me, he's a chartered accountant and he is the managing director of Stratabiz Consulting Advisory Services. And he's a successful chartered accountant from a typical finance family who expects, their children also to grow up and have their own business, be in finance. And he always told me that, when I was doing my chartered accountancy course, we have 5 to 6 other people who are doing CA, and their main goal in life was to finish their CA, get a bank job, get a nice security, and maybe put up their own startup later on. But what they miss, and then he always complains that the younger generation has a lot of comforts. You have laptops, you have mobile phones, you have Google, you have technology, and still, you struggle to study or whatever. We can get these complaints every single day, right? So but what they fail to tell us, or what they fail to understand, is that this generation has a lot of competition. When he has 5 to 6 friends of who are chartered accountants, I have about 25 in my own building, and I was equally confused. When Let me start by introducing. When I finished my schooling, my parents told me, okay, you have science, arts, commerce, and science being the best option, obviously please pick up science for 11th and 12th. I picked up maths, physics, and chemistry. And after 2 years of finishing science, I realized science is not my cup of tea. I was like, I can't do this. I can't get into engineering. So what should I do? My parents then told me that, okay, if science is not your cup of tea, why don't you do finance? Take up commerce and do BCom. And so I took up BCom. I did my BCom from SIS Nerul, Mumbai. And like every other BCom graduate has, we just had two options. One is doing CA or do MBA. So I took up the course of chartered accountancy. And after giving my first level, which is CPT, I cleared and I got good marks. I gave my IPCC attempt. And after I gave my IPCC attempt, I came home and I told my dad, I'm sorry, this is not my cup of tea. He said he was very confused. He said, oh, you don't want to do science, you don't want to do commerce, you don't want to do CA. Okay, why don't you do MBA then? So then I started giving my competitive exams like CAT, GMAT, and I started applying to various colleges, finding out which specialization should I take up, marketing, should I take up finance, should I take up some other like logistics or IT, or there's so many options available. And I ended up coming across one specialization called international business. This was available at ITM Mumbai. I did my MBA in international business from ITM. And what really attracted me in this course is that since I was confused, since I didn't know what to do, I should do everything. I should try and learn everything. And this 9-to-5 job is not for me. Let me try my hand in business. So then I took up international business, and I studied at 3 different colleges, one in ITM, one at SK Budapest, and one in Caen, which is in France. And with this global exposure, I finished my MBA. And as every MBA graduate through campus placements, I joined the Reliance ADA group. And I did about 1.5 years in equity research, where I was in the BFSI sector. I handled about 10 to 15 stocks, 10 to 15 companies. I did research on them and then tried and tell all the investors which companies they should invest in, whether you should buy the stock or you should sell the stock or hold the stock, giving our recommendations. That was my job. After 1.5 years by doing equity research, I was in the same position. I said, I'm still confused. I don't know what to do. This doesn't excite me. It's boring. It's monotonous. What am I supposed to do? Then me and my father, we had the typical discussions that we have, that this phase of my life was very hard, where, we discussed why this, and you're not going anywhere. What are you supposed to do? Blah, blah, blah. And the solution to this, what I found, was young entrepreneurship. He told me that, why don't you do something on your own? So since I was very low in my life, I started watching these motivational stories, these videos that you find on YouTube of various, people who have achieved so much in life, artists, singers, dancers, businessmen, businesswomen, everyone. And when I heard their stories, I saw that there were some key things that they spoke about. One, that India is a country where more than 50% of the population are the young generation. And we are going to go ahead and build this country in a way that, no one ever has. Entrepreneurship is, when you do a job, I was given an action and I was expected to give a reaction to that particular action. I was expected to do a job of particular thing, which restrained me to a certain level. Entrepreneurship is not like that. When I started making the plan, when I saw all these videos of these eminent leaders across the world, I learned that entrepreneurship builds your character in a way that nothing else can. It is not a money driven job, it is a passion driven job. You can never expect that you will earn this much through a particular business, but you can just strive towards it because you have the passion, you have the intent of achieving that particular dream. So every business, I believe, starts with one problem. After watching all these videos, I was very much motivated. I said, "Ha, aaj main kuch karungi." And during
प्रॉब्लम आ जाएगा प्रॉब्लम क्योंकि बिजनेस नहीं होगा
okay, should I continue?
Yes,
Someone
ma'am.
saying,
yes, continue. Participants, please mute yourself.
so every business starts with one problem. I believe that. So when I was watching all these videos during my experience as when I worked with Reliance, I also worked as the corporate strategy manager. So I met a lot of people as corporate strategy. What I had to do was I had to meet different kind of people, work on various assignments of startup companies. We used to have joint ventures with different other companies, and I used to help them actually build their JV with us with the required technology, etc., etc. So what I realized during that time was there were many people, many startups who were relying on other companies because they couldn't get the required funds, they couldn't get the required exposure that they wanted. As young entrepreneurs, we have two very major problems that we face. One is you don't have enough experience, you don't have enough exposure for people to believe you. Why should someone invest in me? Why should they say that, okay, I will give you this much money, you put up your business? I don't have that much experience, I don't have that much exposure. So that was one problem these guys faced. And two was they don't have enough money, they don't know who to approach. Where should I go? To a bank is the first option that you have, but bankers don't always like your ideas. So these guys were struggling with these two major problems. And I thought, if that is the gap, I will try and fill in the gap by making these young entrepreneurs or these startup companies meet the required bankers, NBFCs, the investors, through my company. And that's how I came up, and me and my father came up with Stratabiz. So the first thing that if you plan on building your own business is list up with 3 to 5 problems that your company observes and wants to solve. Where is the gap? If you're coming up with a particular manufacturing company, where is the gap? If there are many companies who manufacture a lot of things, and post COVID, it's been even more because there was a huge gap of not coming physically to the shops or whatever. And there were many companies who used technology to bring everything online, they digitized everything. So there are several gaps in this world, and you have a lot of scope to start up anything that you wish if you find that one particular problem. So once you find what the problem is, understand you understand what the problem is, you elaborate on how this negatively impacts the people and what are their experiences, what are their expectations. Okay, now I've found a potential startup person, I found a potential investor. What do they expect? What does the investor want? What does the startup person want? And how can I bridge the gap? Elaborate it, and then frame these problems so clearly in your head. Have a game plan in such a way that it is the foundation of your entire pitch. When you pitch this idea to a particular investor or to a particular startup person, in my case, I should be absolutely clear as to why I'm doing this. The next thing is the utopia. Utopia is actually a place of perfection. That's what they say. That's what you gain when you give a solution to the problem, a solution to your through your business to the problem that you have, like put the limelight on. But I feel this utopia is an illusion. You can never find perfection. You can never find perfect deal. You can never keep everyone happy in a particular deal. After doing several deals with investors, with I have raised funds of about 1,000 to 2,000 crores as well, and I've realized that you can never keep everyone happy. The investor always wants returns. The startup person always needs funds at the lowest interest cost. How can you do that? You can never. These are two things which are like going in opposite directions, right? So the best thing that you can do is uh, find a middle stage where both of them can, maybe adjust. So the utopia or the solutions is always an illusion. How can my company like solve these? How did I think that my company would solve this particular problem? I envisioned so you always envision how can your particular business solve the problem that you have found out, and the solution, please, like always, I mean, you try and understand that this particular solution has to be original. It has to be you, because if it is something that everyone else is doing, you will end up being, you know in that common place where everyone is just doing whatever everyone is doing, you're ending up doing the same thing. Be original, because unless you be original, you wouldn't have the monopoly in the game. And again, be very clear so that you can smoothly jump into introducing your particular product. You are so clear, you know your product so much, you understand it so much that it is very easy for the investor to invest in you. And after you come up with the problem that is there and the solution that you have, timing is everything. When I made a game plan, I was like, okay, now this is what I'm going to do. What I'm going to do next? When am I going to do it? Is it going to take 1 month? Is it going to take a year? Is it going to take like 5 years? And how am I supposed to do it? The answer is now. Don't wait that, okay, now I need some funds, I need a place to sit, I need to, because every big company, whether it was Google, whether it was Apple, it was Facebook, it started at one small go down or one small cafe. I started talking to people from Starbucks, and I used to sit every day, take my laptop and put my headphones, talk to people, all the contacts that I had made in the past 2 years. I tried to connect with them and say that, please let me know if you have any potential investors. I used to understand these startups. The beauty of entrepreneurship is that you will always remain a student till the end. I have companies which are hospitals. I have companies which are from various, like, steel companies, different sectors, and I have no clue about what they do. So before I pitch their idea to a banker or to an investor, I should believe in them, right? They should convince me of what they are doing, and to do that, I should understand what their business is, which is why. Which is why I said previously that entrepreneurship builds your character, because you learn about so many different sectors, you learn about so many different things, and you are also building your own business in the background. So that is the beauty of entrepreneurship. And the second important thing is, what are the trends these days that make your product or service possible? Always keep up with the pace. Jack Ma once said that from 20 to 30 years, you actually build yourself. You build through your career, through your education and everything. From 30 to 40, you build your own empire. You make your business, you go to a job, you achieve things. From 40 to 50, you learn from others. You learn from the younger generation, because that's when you have to realize that we live in a world where there is an iPhone every 6 months. In every year, a new iPhone keeps coming, and it's newer and newer things, better technology. Every day you can learn something, and it's better to learn from someone else rather than you goofing it up on your own. So keep up with the pace, always keep learning, know what is going around you, rather than just sticking to one book. Just try and understand what is happening around you. The next, obviously, is the target market. Who am I targeting? Then after I, after I started finding potential clients, I started finding who all are these startups. And once I did one or two deals, they went and told some other more people. And that's how I built my target market. So before starting any business, it's very important that who are you selling your product to? What are their profiles and what are their personas? There's a difference between the both. The profile is, okay, I'm going to target from so and so's age, the finance people, these people, these people. But the persona, like I am a finance person, but my persona is I would rather go to a cafe coffee day than a chai people, because I like coffee more than tea. So that's your persona. That's what you like. So when you know the likes and dislikes of your clients, you understand them better. So when all these these startups people came to me and they told me that this is what I want, if I would have focused on what their business is and not on how they want their business to be, I wouldn't have fulfilled their needs in the most perfect way, right? Because if I get them, if all they want was money, and I got them, okay, fine, this is the amount of money that you want, I'll get it to you from this bank. This is not sufficient. They need an investor who believes in them, who visualizes their business the way they do. Just giving them money is not what they want. So it's very important to understand what they want and how they need it also. Visualize the people who turn to you for solutions. You always understand who you are selling the product to. And then obviously the elephant in the room is you're not alone. You're not the only person who is doing this particular business, right? There are a lot of competition. There's a lot of competition in this world. Like I told you, what the older generation fails to understand is we are living in a world which is so over demanding. When I did when I was doing BCom, out of a class of 240, 180 of us were doing CA. And if I would have completed my course and I would go to a job, the first question they used to ask is, okay, you're a chartered accountant, so what? We have 10 more people who are there. What is so special in you? So it has become very important to focus on our skill set rather than what you have done, what you have studied, because that is just a ticket to the corporate world. That is just an entry to where you are going to go. But once you enter that corporate world, the only thing that will keep you always demanding is your own skill set. and that you only have to build. So similarly, in a particular business also, when you enter the market, there is a lot of competition. So the only thing that can save you from this is being original and being unique in a way that your competition can never overcross you. And that's where competitive advantage plays a role, right? So for competitive advantage, when I first did my when I first started my company, the first thing that we did was a SWOT analysis. SWOT, I know all of you must be studying it in your schools. uh, the Even though it's a very simple task, it is so important to do it, to know what your strength is, what are the opportunities, and what are your weaknesses, which is the most important in every business. Visualize it, and try and make a quadrant, and and try and make a quadrant, and know who's your competition, what are your strengths, how can you enhance your strengths, and how can you improve your weaknesses. That is a very important task that you need to do before starting any business. How is the landscape differentiated, and what makes you different is one thing, that is your own unique USP. What can you do better than your competition, and how would you outperform them? You need to list all these things before you enter. And these competitive advantage that you have wouldn't, like, it's not a short term thing. It's a very in long term, it will actually help you in understanding how are you different. And one more thing, you cannot, obviously, whatever you list, whatever planning that you do at the start before starting your own business, is not going to stay with you throughout. You will have to be very hybrid, and you will have to keep adding, keep changing, and keep adding on your strengths, keep adding on, because every day is different, and you will keep getting more challenges as in when you do your business. And approach is key. The way you approach your client is very important. I've had so many calls which were the failures of my life, I call it. But then when you call them and they say, no, I'm not interested in this. Yes, there were so many times where, I used to pitch an idea to an investor. The investor used to say, ha, we'll do it. And it used to just drag on for days, for months, and I don't get anything from them. And you have to understand that these experiences will help you, and the way you approach them is very important. Why I say that is because how would you what is the path to reach your customers? um, so recently, all of you must be knowing Zomato, right? So you get these notifications from Zomato every now and then. Recently, I found a very interesting notification where it just said, you really need to exercise every day. So why don't you walk from your bed to your door, because Zomato delivers your breakfast till your door. So I found it very interesting, and they keep getting these very creative notifications, that it's just a simple notification that you send to all your customers, right? But then it keeps you engaged, and it's like, oh, that's nice. And the way you approach, the more creative you are in approaching your customer, the more they are attracted to you, and at the same time they will be with you. It Zomato already has a lot of customer base. It has no need to attract new customers, right? But still it does it to keep the current customers, and that's what is very important. Whether it's events, whether you come up with partnerships with other companies, you come up with ads, you come up with list out all those effective ways on how you do the branding of your particular company, because it's very important, the way how you portray, the way how you um, do brand yourself in front of your customers. And then the most important step in building your business is to create a business model. show the ways how your company is going to make money. In the end, the I wouldn't say the only I wouldn't say the only way to, I mean, the only goal of a business is to make money. But yes, it is a very important factor. And through, like, there are many ways how to make money, but then focus on one main method. Focus on your USP and stick to that. Don't get into multiple options and say, okay, I want to start up a restaurant also, I want to do this also, I want to do this also. Don't do that. Just focus on one thing, and then you can probably, once you set base in that, you can probably branch out in various other businesses. And also, what I learned from my MBA is that I'm glad that I did my MBA, because when I was doing my MBA, it not only taught me the lessons, like, the bookish knowledge, the textbooks that we read. It also gave me a hands-on practical knowledge on how, how lifetime value or concepts like customer acquisition cost, how can I apply them in my business? So when I traveled to Budapest and when I traveled to France, I visited various companies there. We did live projects with Siemens, etc. And where they gave us a live problem and they asked us to come up with a particular solution. And we had to give presentations. We had to convince the management of the company as to how can you solve this particular problem and everything. So there I could actually understand what the reality of the world is. We need to focus more on exposure. We need to apply, we need to study the concepts, apply it, and in a way that we get exposure for our future. It's very important, because something that we miss in our MBA, in our B schools, in our colleges, is that we study for the sake of exams and we just give that. And to be very honest, during my MBA, I didn't even open one book. I haven't touched one single book. Uh, I think Preeti ma'am is going to be very annoyed when I'm saying this, but it's not important to focus on what is written in the textbook. Do read it, have knowledge, but then try and apply it and see, okay, how can what exactly is customer acquisition cost? Okay, it is the money that you put in a particular customer, and how much are you actually investing in him for him to stay with you? Okay, and what is lifetime value, or what is, all these concepts, you try and understand it and apply it in your own business. Then it would help you in remembering it also for a longer time. And it's not just for the exams. You will apply it in, even when you all those people who said they want to do jobs, you get to apply it there as well. Because as when you do a job, it's not just like, they'll give you one task and you need to complete it. If you do that, you will never get growth in the job that you do. That's what happened when I was working at Equity Research. I had 10 set companies, and I had to do research on them. And at one point, I actually asked my boss that, okay, sir, what is beyond this, beyond these 10 companies? Because I want to learn, I want to know what the other companies do as well. But he said, no, it's enough. You're covering these stocks. It's fine. Our investors are, interested in these particular stocks only. And I told him that no, I somehow I'm not convinced. I'm feeling very, I'm really bored doing the same thing again and again. So when you apply this entrepreneurship attitude, even in your job, you will experience growth in a way that you never have. And by this I mean, like, you don't say that, okay, this is my task, let me complete this and just go home by 6 o'clock. You complete the task, and you know why you're doing it. You learn what is the concept behind it. And if you don't know anything, Google and understand and learn. Because, or ask your boss or your mentor. Because if you apply this entrepreneurship attitude even in your job, you will become someone where your boss will say that, okay, this guy is not doing it for his salary, or not doing it for impressing me. He's doing it for himself, and that's what matters. um And in the end, the future roadmap that you have, what are the next steps and goals? How much support do you need from investors? And what will it get you? I always keep this future roadmap. I keep this future roadmap in my case keeps changing every day. I say, okay, now I have accomplished this. Now I'm going to do this. Now I've finished this. Now I'm going to do this. Now I plan to actually start take my particular company in a digital platform. I want to create a particular app where these people meet each other on their own. And once I achieve that, maybe I'll have something else. There's no full stop there to your business. It's always there's always a future roadmap, and you have ample opportunities to achieve whatever you want. Always remember that people don't buy what you do, they buy how you do it. They don't actually see, how much, what are you bringing on the table. They see how you have brought it. So, and what would define your success? What are the qualities that we young people can learn from the older generation? Is that what I have learned from my parents and my grandparents is we complain a lot, right? We don't have this, we don't have that, we are not able to get time for this, we are not able to get time to study, we are not able to get time for doing so many things. Just stop complaining and start working towards it, because the day you stop complaining, you will realize that, okay, there is a lot of scope. Now I can learn so many things. There's so many things unknown to me, because our parents were in a generation where they didn't have even a mobile phone. They didn't have Google to tell them what to do. They had no clue. And we have so many resources. They are right in a way. Even though we have competition, they are right in a way that we are living in a particular comfort zone. And once we cross that particular comfort zone is where you can achieve your goals. Take things seriously, and don't, or just don't take them up at all. Because when I was doing my MBA, or there were many people who said, what is the purpose of you doing an MBA? And they said, my mom told me, my father told me, my teacher told me, I did this career. You have these career counseling sessions, right? There, you end up having 2 to 3 options in the end. So they told me that I have to do MBA, I have to do CA. Don't do it because someone told you to. Do it because you want to. And if you do it, and if you're doing it, do it seriously. Otherwise, don't do it at all. And humility is your best defense. This is what Ratan Tata, he is my mentor, and he told me. He said this, that humility is your best defense. A Nobel Prize winner would never say that he has won a Nobel Prize. So be humble, be you, be original. And in the end, it doesn't matter how much hard work you put in. It matters how happy you were while you were doing it, right? So that's it. I would like to end with my favorite quote by Ratan Tata, that ups and downs in life are very important to keep us going, because a straight line, even in an ECG, means we are not alive. So thank you. Do you have any questions?
Yes, if anyone is having question, please.
Yes, ma'am, I'm having a question.
Yes, Chitij.
Uh, Ma'am, uh, my question is, like, how do you see competitiveness in your field?
How do you, sorry, come again? How do you see competitiveness?
I'm in your field.
In my field, as in like how I deal with competition, or I didn't get your question actually.
How do you deal? How do you see competitiveness?
Okay, how I see competition. So, Kshitij, it's a very nice question actually,
खत्म होने वाला
and
है.
it's a very hard question to answer. To be very honest, you've put me in a spot. So, competition is uh, like in my field, in finance is a field which is there's a lot of competition, right? So the best way to deal with competition, as I said, is be unique. If you have something what the other people don't, people will come to you automatically. So when I started up my company, there were many others who were like hedge fund managers who were into investment banking who did the same thing pretty much like I was doing. But what I focused on was these investment banking people uh, targeted companies or startup companies which were very easy to get money for, right? So suppose if you are coming up with a very good something like cryptocurrency or something like that, people will be obviously interested in it and they will invest in you. But that was not my goal. What I thought was I will target companies for whom funds are hard to get, like steel companies. Right now steel companies are not doing well, or now there's a particular the investors are not comfortable in investing in real estate companies because there's a lot of risk involved in that. So those companies are stuck and they're not getting funds from any bankers. That those are the companies that I target because I know for a fact that any big company will get funds for them if they are good. So competition, how you deal with it is you try and give them something that others won't give them, right? So I hope that answers your question.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Ma'am, if I have a startup idea, then what is the first step should I take to start this journey of entrepreneurship? That is, I would ask you how to approach investors in my startup idea or this thing.
Okay, that's a very, very nice question because I was when I had my startup in mind, it was very, very difficult for me. But Harsh, right? Yeah. So Harsh, I would say when you have a particular idea, you try once you get clarity about what your company is going to do or your business is going to do, you try and make yourself an elevator pitch. An elevator pitch is basically like, a 2 minute speech about your idea and your company. Just 2 minutes, because trust me, investors don't have more than 2 minutes to spare to know you or to know your idea. And they will not give you time beyond that. So you have to be very, very creative and you have to be very clear in your head as in what exactly is your idea and how you're supposed to pitch your investors. How you approach investors is a whole different thing. If you're asking me that, how do you approach investors? Is first try and what I would suggest is first don't directly jump into starting up your business. Try and get exposure through a particular company by doing a job for at least 1 or 2 years. That way you will create your contact list. You will create contacts. You will try and maintain have some connections with people and use that connections later on when you start up your company. I hope you got what you
Yes, ma'am.
got
Yes,
what I
ma'am.
said.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Welcome.
A very good afternoon, ma'am.
Hi Ashna, tell me.
Ma'am, first of all, thank you so much for this fruitful section. Ma'am, I have one question. This is my placement time and I am nervous about my interviews. So, ma'am, I want to know what is the best way to introduce myself in front of interviewer, because generally students told their name, place, etc. So, which is already mentioned in our CV. So, please tell me how I present myself.
Okay. So yeah. So that's a very interesting question, actually. I would say if someone asked me, like, introduce yourself, or the regular questions that we get at interviews is, why do you think we should choose you for our company? I would say that one thing that they normally expect at every interview is that how can you be an asset to the company? See, as I said, there's a lot of competition in this world. There are 10 other people just outside who are attending the same interview and who are equally educated. We are like, with the same qualifications that you have. But what would differentiate you is rather than being, you know, with qualifications, try and tell them your skill set. Try and tell them that this is how I feel I will be an asset to your company. Tell them that, like, your set of your vision, your company vision, or the way your company thinks is what I feel is similar to mine, is similar to my value system. So that is how I feel I will be an asset to your company. I think that is what people normally interviewers expect from you, rather than just saying that I'm an MBA or I'm doing this, I'm doing that, or like, I'm this is my background. Try and tell them that this is my background, this is what I believe in, and this is what I will prove to be in your particular company.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Okay. So, any more questions?
Yes. Any more questions, students?
Ma'am, I do have a question.
Yes, Avinash.
Uh, okay. Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, you
Yes,
are
yes.
audible.
Avinash.
Okay. First of all, very good evening, ma'am. My question is like in the starting, you have listed the reality of entrepreneurship,
Mm,
and ma'am, you showed the growing rate of unemployment in India.
right.
So as of now, what for like you have already rectified a lot of question of mine for like I was confused about whether to start have a startup just after completion of my MBA, but you showed that please get some experience after doing a job. But ma'am, uh, every 9 out of 10 startups fail in India. For like 90% of the startups are already failing, and
Mm.
uh, it's not for like a very possible situation to come up with a brilliant new idea. So could you please tell me, ma'am, whether for like can we have a startup, a successful startup with something which is already existing in the market without creating something very innovative or something new? Because it's very hard that for like every startup has a new idea or a new innovation.
I agree, but then I slightly disagree with what you say also, because there is no successful startup ever. Trust me, even Facebook or all these unicorn companies that we see, by the way, they are about, I guess, 36 in unicorn companies that we have right now in 2021.
Yes, ma'am,
You
for
know
like
how many
Nike
we
and
have?
Academy and all.
Right. How many we had last year? We had
I
37.
I guess yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so there was one company which is not anymore. So that actually tells us that you can start really well, but then one simple mistake can actually bring you back to the ground, right? So it's a very complex question actually. So you come up with something new, you come up with something different from everyone. I know it's difficult, but if you are original in what you do, I feel you will be successful eventually, because in the first 5 years of your business you're always going to be in a loss only, you're going to be underperforming. But don't lose hope and try and come out. As I said, keep up with the pace. Try and come with newer technologies and keep up with that particular trend that is going on right now. Because if you keep up with the trend, that's how you will move ahead rather than being stuck at one place.
So, ma'am, moreover, it's like it's not that important that what exactly you're doing. It's like how you are doing it, it's more important.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because we actually live in a world where, like, there is so much social media. There is Instagram, and people put up all these advertisements and this and that, and we keep getting these recommended videos and everything on Instagram as well, right? So when you do that, you actually, when you just scroll, people are just scrolling and scrolling, and they find something really attractive and they click on it. So why they find it attractive is because the way they present it. It's the same old thing. It's probably some online clothes. You have 100 other brands. You have Agio, you have Myntra, you have so many online platforms which have their own applications, but still we see something on Instagram and we like it, and we just go to that particular link and buy some, clothes. It's the same idea, right? There are online clothes everywhere, whether it's H&M, whether it's Agio, whether it's Myntra, whether it's Jabong, or they're basically doing the same thing. That the way you present it, the way you like put it forward is important. Because even if it is a small company, you're doing something which is different from others, and you put it in a way that is different from others, then you will definitely do it.
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am, for answering the question. Have a great time ahead,
Absolutely.
ma'am. Thank you.
Yes, anyone else? So I think now there is no questions. So Shripriya, it was very nice session, and like for an entrepreneur who is so young, we really listened you very properly, and I was really like happy to listen you today. And now I would like to invite Vaishali. Please take forward.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am. Firstly, I would heartfully thank to a respected eminent resource person, Sri Priya Konakanchi, ma'am. Ma'am has told us and guided us through her educational background story, how confused she was while choosing the right stream, which even continued in job. But finally, after trying almost everything, moved to entrepreneurship, which eventually turns out marvelous. Ma'am told what's the basic problem every startup face, what's the importance of originality and the importance of calculating time. Ma'am told us how important approach is to engage your customers. Ma'am told us about the most important key aspect or the backbone of any startup to be successful is business model. I'm sure that not only me, but an entire group of participants would already be feeling blessed by the wonderful knowledge and experience shared by ma'am. I'm sure it will guide us through a path, help enhancing our knowledge to the world of good. Now, I would like to hand over the mic to a respected Assistant Professor Vinay Kumar Yadav, sir, Faculty Coordinator, to share his words and gratitude. Over to you, sir. Vinay, sir, are you able to hear me?
Just a minute. Hello, I'm audible. I'm audible.
Yes,
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 sir,
sir.
you are
yes.
Yes.
audible, sir.
From my side, there is some problem facing internet fluctuations. I hope I'm perfectly audible to all of you. That's due to internet fluctuations. I'm audible.
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir.
Oh, on behalf of IIC BBCITM and entire fraternity of institute, we are thankful to our special guest speaker, Ms. Sripriya Konakanchi, Assistant Vice President, Stratabiz Advisory Services, Navi Mumbai. The session was quite interesting, knowledgeable, rather motivational to the youth as well as for who are interested to become an entrepreneur or wants to be started. It
was well said by you that an entrepreneur aspirant should hit the main issue or identify the issue to remove the confusion and to move toward solution. One should be passion driven and know their target customer to become a successful entrepreneur. And personally, I do agree, as you said, beauty of entrepreneurship is that you should be remain a student. Means we have to always find a new way to run the business successfully. Dear Sripriya, in a young age, you have achieved a lot and running a venture successfully. That's a very inspiring to the youth of our nation. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and experience with the participants. Definitely, it is going to help the participants to start their own venture. Thank you, IICT coordinator, for conducting such a session. Thank you, dear participants, for listening to this session. They are carefully and asking questions. Thank you so much.
Dear Shripriya, uh, your sir, Dr. Sankal sir has sent you blessings. And
Thank you, ma'am.
yeah, and it is really proud, like you are he's a student, and we are really thrilled to listen you today. And you are at such a young stage. You given such a nice session for our students, and I am happy. They must have learned a lot, and it must have motivated many of them. Like they can also do something. They
Hope
can
so.
also be a young achiever like you, and make their position in their society and set a remarkable journey from which others can learn. Thank you so
I
much,
hope, I
Shripriya.
hope, I hope I've motivated you enough today. And
Uh, definitely, definitely, you are a role model for the youth. I'm
Definitely.
personally very happy to see you and to listen on this very important particular topic. Our best wishes uh, and best wishes from the BBD educational group. As a
thank you, sir.
teacher, as a teacher, we all are happy to listen. Though we didn't teach you, but yes, Sankalp sir is uh, was the part of this group earlier. So we are happy that you are the student of the Sankalp sir. So really, it is a proud moment for us also.
He is my favorite professor, actually.
No, he is everyone's favorite.
Yes.
Even like he is our favorite colleague. So please everyone switch on your video so that we can have one group photograph. Yes, everyone please switch on the video. So these are all our young students like you, and I hope they can also have their session 2 3 years later at some colleges, at some institute. Yes, everyone please. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you once again, Shri Priya, for this cooperation and for this nice session. And
Thank you, ma'am.
hope for more associations with you in future.
Definitely. Thank you.
Okay, welcome. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Take care. Stay connected. Stay protected. Now I'm ending the meeting. Okay, bye. Take care, everyone. Bye, Shri Priya.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.